Or we're continuing day 28 about the land of Israel. So we're continuing on chapter 10 from Tuv Haaretz. He says like that. We must ask the following. Why was the land of Israel deprived of manna? We know the man fell in the desert and it stopped when they entered Eretz Israel. It's like, why? You think the opposite. You think you should have manna also in Israel falling from heaven. The answer to that question is as follows. In the desert, everything of the physical and materialistic nature stems from external forces. Those entities are essentially impure and grow in a land that is ruled upon by foreign archangels. Therefore, the fruits that grow therein cannot be worthy vessels to contain the spirit of holiness. This is because an impure body cannot become the vessel for the spirit of holiness. So you need a holy, or like I say, a healthy spirit in a healthy body. You want a holy neshama, you need your body to be pure and holy. Otherwise, it cannot stay there. It cannot be expressed or accessed. If there were to be some holiness in its fruits and food products, they would be provided for by their evil spiritual rulers. Yet that possibility could not exist when it came to manna. This is because the manna comes from heaven, a place where the forces of the foreign archangels have absolutely no grasp. So even though it was not in Israel, it was outside of Israel. It came already from beyond the archangels, and therefore they were able to access direct holiness, even though it was, so to speak, in an unholy place. So, but listen to that. Nonetheless, the fruits of the land of Israel stem from holiness. Therefore, the very same spirituality that was enveloped by the manna is enclosed by the fruits of Israel, which means that if you eat the fruits from Israel, it's as if you eat manna. Pretty impressive. That is why no manna fell in the land of Israel, because you had the fruits, you don't need. That is also why the after blessing for fruits of the 7 species in the land of Israel concludes upon her fruits, as opposed to upon the fruits. It is her fruit Eretz Israel. That's why there's those 7 fruits for which there's a special bracha. Now you understand what the special bracha for those fruits. And let's remember, the first bracha that we have when we say Birkat Hamazon is Hazan et Hakol, which refers to manna. And here, so just like so those fruits, her fruit is a connection also to manna directly in the after blessing of the 7 fruits. This is what indicates that the holiness of the land resides in her fruits alone, and not the fruits that grow outside the land of Israel. So we have to be mindful. And we change in the bracha, where we change in the bracha peroteha. I forgot the exact lashon, but we change when it has to do directly with the land of Israel. So remind yourself of that when you buy fruits. Try to buy fruits that are like manna. Try to buy fruits from the land of Israel, and be aware to make a different after bracha. Even for the wine, we say an after bracha different for the agafna instead of alagefen something. Yeah, so we change for this, and that's it. We don't change for mezonos. My beloved Ramaz, Rabbi Moshe Zakuto, comments: the understanding of this is that the entire purpose of our existence is to sift out the sparks of light that have fallen into the realms of inanimate, plant, animal, and human, the 4 levels, Domem, Sameach, Behema, and Adam. This is part of the mystery of the 288 sparks that remain from the days of Adam, when the shattering of the vessel, breaking of the vessel of the spheros. 288 sparks fell into the world. Therefore, even into the Garden of Eden, the manna didn't descend for Adam. Rather, he was commanded as a positive mitzvah to eat from all the fruits of the garden, as per Rabbeinu Bachia's explanation. So he had the fruit of the garden that was replacing manna, so he didn't need manna in the where he was in Gan Eden. Yet in the desert, the sprouting of fruits is supernatural, as it is not the essential function of the desert to contain those sparks. Yet the manna fell for the Jews in the desert, for they had shed their defilement at the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, so they had become pure vessel to be able to receive it. The 288 sparks, according to the Ari, this entire process of death and resurrection is hinted at the word merachefet. The first and last letter of the word spell met, meaning dead. The three remaining letters are resh, fei, and chet, which the numerical value of these three letters is 288. These are the 288 sparks of holiness that reside within the vessel that shattered at the beginning of creation. Just explaining the 288. The symbolic significance of the number 288 is alluded to in the word ibur, whose numerical value is also 288. Ibur means gestation or pregnancy, thus indicating that the broken vessel with the 288 sparks are similar to seeds that are planted in the ground. Although they may appear to be rotting, they are going through a process that is necessary in order to bring forth new life. The 288 sparks thus represent the profound concept of death and this resurrection. Our task is to rectify these sparks. Rav Chaim Vital has written, there are 30 species of fruit that grow in the land of Israel. Each species has many different types. This can be seen from the 70 types of dates derived from the verse and 70 date trees. Behold, in the realm of Bria, there exist 10 different fruits which correspond to the 10 spheros of Bria. Since they are distant from impurity and are close to Atzilus, these fruits have neither shell or pit. They can be eaten entirely. The numerous strange types of fruits mentioned here are difficult to identify with modern terms, but they try to give some names. So they are the grapes, figs, apples, esrog, lemons, pears, quinces, berries, surabis, and karus. There are also 10 fruits correlating to the 10 spheres of Yetzirah, being that they are rooted from the place which is not too close to the impurity, yet they aren't so close to Atzilut either, therefore they have an inedible pit. They are olives, dates, cherries, sophiax, priscus, ciruelas, apricots, gindas, acranias, and juispulas. The 10 fruit that correspond to the 10 spheres of Asiya are surrounded by an edible shell. This is so being that it's in close proximity to the realm of impurity. The shell acts as a protective barrier, preventing the impurity from penetrating the holiness of the fruit. This is similar to the Yetzirah and the shell, klipa, that surrounds the nefesh of a person. These 10 are as follows: pomegranates, hazelnuts, almonds, chestnuts, Brazil nuts, alonim, albustas, frishes, pinonas, pistachios, moazes. The names and numbers I have received, yet their names and numbers I have received, yet the exact correspondence to their particular sephiros I haven't received, until a spirit shall descend upon us from above. Behold, the 10 fruits of Bria have had all waste removed, leaving them totally edible. Corresponding to them, in the realm of the force of impurity, are the barren trees. They are entirely inedible, for they are like one big shell. In opposition to the 10 fruits of Yetzirah are their own pits. This relates to the situation when the falling spark of holiness is so great that the shell cannot tolerate its light in their midst. Therefore, she closes in on herself and enters in the middle of the light. The 10 fruits of Asiya, where the fruit is surrounded by the shell, are similar to where the shell has incorporated within itself a spark of holiness. We're almost done. Opposite those 30 fruits, another 30 that stem from the left side. They grow widely on the trees of the forest, the majority of which contain no edible fruit. Rather, they are mostly shell. Therefore, the blessing recited over them is not creator of the fruit of the tree, Borperites. Rather, the blessing is that all come into being via his power of speech, which is a more general blessing applicable to any food. Anyone who is meticulous in his actions should refrain from eating them, since they signify the left side, the force of evil. The total number of edible fruits of the ground, Adama, that were created is 55, as is the value of the word Adama. Other than those 55 types of vegetables, nothing is worthy of consumption. Being that the vegetables are low, close to the ground, they are not arrogant and are able to grow from any type of water. So now we know a little bit about the fruits of Eretz Israel, how they have a unique quality, and how eating them is like eating manna. And so we should understand the gift, the advantage of that. Obviously, it's going to affect us positively only if we work on becoming holy ourselves, because like we say, we need a holy vessel. But that's a tremendous. Now we understand why they changed the bracha a little bit, Gafna or Peoseha, and why there's no manna in Israel, because Israel is like Gan Eden, and Gan Eden, like the trees in Gan Eden, they contain the same spiritual power as the manna. So it's time to go back to Israel and to eat from the holy fruits and the manna.